Hello, teacher. I'm talking about my lesson plan number 4. The topic is gerunds and infinitives. The grade is for second baccalaureate. Duration of the class is 45 minutes. The proficiency level is elementary, B1.1. The Common European Framework of Reference for Language CEFR is an international standard for describing language ability. During this lesson, students will be able to writing. The students will be able to distinguish about gerund and infinitive grammar. For reading, to learn new vocabulary about verbs of gerund and infinitive. For listening, the students will be able to recognize different rules. For speaking, the students can speak in front of the class and the teacher correct the good pronunciation when it's necessary. The methodology I use PPP, presentation, practice and production. The teacher presents the target language and then gives students the opportunity to practice its slow, very controlled activities. The final stage of the lesson gives the students the opportunity to practice the target language in fewer activities which bring in other language elements. For strategies, I use visual, can be used effectively at all grade levels and across curricular areas. In this case, I show one video. For anticipatory set, work on the book and enjoy exercise, posting your feelings and emotions. Take the test and then complete the grammar chart below the answers and questions. How do you deal with your emotions? For main teaching input, grade the students, reflect on grammar, and present the video about gerunds and infinitives. For presentation, work on the book, English student book, classify the verbs in the word bank into appropriate categories. Read the news posted in this personal blog. Fill in the graphs with the correct form of the verbs in parentheses. Listen and check. After that, show different rules on the board. For example, for gerunds and infinitives. First, I talk about gerunds. Brief review on how to form them. For example, gerunds are nouns formed from verbs. For example, walking, talking, thinking, eating. Gerunds are defined as ing form of the verb. They have several functions. Can be used as subjects, complements, object of a sentence. For example, for subjects, reading helps you learn English. For complement, my favorite hobby is reading. Object of a sentence, I enjoy reading. Can be made negative by eating not. For example, he enjoys not working. The best thing for your health is not smoking. Infinitives are the to form the verb. For example, to walk, to talk, to think, to eat. For subject, example, to learn is important. For complement, the most important thing is to learn. Object of the sentence, he wants to learn. The negative can be made by eating not. For example, I decided not to go. The most important thing is not to give up. Gerunds and infinitives can be used as a subject or complement of a sentence. However, a subject or complement gerunds usually sounds more like normal spoken English, whereas infinitive sounds more abstract. For example, Normal subjects. Learning is important. Abstract subjects is less common, so learn is important. For normal complement, the most important thing is learning. Abstract complement, the most important thing is to learn. As the subject of a sentence, it is more difficult to choose between a gerund or an infinitive. In such situation, they are not normally interchangeable. Usually, the main verb in the sentences determines whether you use a gerund or an infinitive. For example, enjoy requires a gerund. He enjoys swimming. Want requires an infinitive. He wants to swim. Some verbs are followed by gerunds as objects. For example, Mary keeps talking about her problems. Some verbs are followed by gerunds as infinitives. For example, she wants to go to a movie. Mary needs to talk about her problems. After that, work in workbook, listen and check. For modeling, the student chooses one important event in which your famous person was the protagonist. Write a description of her feeling and emotion related to events. For guided practice, practice different sentences on the board with the students about the rules of gerunds and gerund verbs. After that, they can write examples on the notebook. For independent practice, the students write 5 sentences with different rules. The examples stay in the worksheet. For example, for gerunds, they need write for subjects, complements, objects of a sentences. For assessment, class participation, observation and delight feedback based on context and language. For closing review and follow-up, in the class, the student complete different worksheets. For example, it's here this worksheet and this. Use it as an object for more practice of rule. Gerunds are verbs that act like noun. They are formed by adding ing to verbs. For example, swim, swimming. Some verbs can be followed by either a gerund or an infinitive to plus verb. Before the student begin completing the sentences, make sure they know the meaning of all the verbs in the book. Thank you.